This is the most important topic. This is the topic I want to know your juice here, President. I want to know your predictions with the Champions League because, oh my days, man. Let's start with a Chelsea Real Madrid because Pulisic is there and Potter needs a win.
I love how you just called him Pulisic. But yeah, Pulisic is there. No, listen, Real Madrid, Chelsea, all I have to say is Karim Benzema has scored his last 10 Champions League goals against English competition. Okay? You can fact check me on this. We've got 4 goals versus Chelsea in last year's quarterfinals, 3 goals versus Manchester City in last year's semifinals, and 3 goals versus Liverpool, just last week or so. Okay? I am going to say it right now. I suspect that this streak will continue, and I suspect that Karim Benzema then will likely might go up against English competition in the semifinals as well. And that streak will continue once again, where he literally will only score in 5 sets of fixtures, will only score against English competition. But listen, the only thing you got here is if Chelsea's momentum, I know that they just tied Everton, but if Chelsea's momentum is real, this is one way to show it.
Exactly.
This is one way to show it, man. I mean,
exactly. The glimpses of success that we were mentioning with Arteta and Ten Hag that he has in his first 6 months. If Potter goes through against Real Madrid, one of the contenders, Chelsea doesn't even need to win the Champions League. But if Chelsea goes through with Real Madrid, that's the statement that Graham Potter needs. Enzo Fernandez versus Chouameni and Camavinga will be an elite matchup. And if they're going to do something against Real Madrid, it's from the right back spot. And Mudryk, attention's going to be on Mudryk against Carvajal because that's where they can do damage. And João Felix knows Real Madrid too. So these are big points for Chelsea, but I don't believe they'll go through. I believe Real Madrid is going to go through. Why? Because just like Ancelotti, I do believe, like Ancelotti said, Vinicius Junior is the best player in the world right now. Ancelotti said this. He affirmed this. And at 22, Vinicius is one of the best Brazilian players I've ever seen in La Liga. And that's a big talk. Ronaldinho, Ronald Nazario, you got huge. Neymar peak. Vinicius at 21 has that experience and he has a key role for Real Madrid. So I think he's going to destroy Chelsea, in my opinion. I mean, Vinicius.
And he can still get so much better. He can still get so much better. Exactly. And listen, I love Reece James, but I am going to pull out the popcorn to watch this Reece James Vinicius Jr. Battle. But there's so much to like about this. There's so much to like about this side of the bracket. Why? Real Madrid, Chelsea, the winner of that plays the winner of the next fixture we're going to talk about, which is Manchester City, Bayern. But on the other side, you've got 3 Italian teams, of which there have not been 3 Italian teams in the Champions League quarterfinals, I think, since like 2006, 2005. It's been a very, very long time since we've had this type of, Italian strength. And it's not Juve. It's not Juve, which is just shocking. True. But when it comes down to it, I love knowing, in some respects, I love knowing that one of Inter or Napoli or AC Milan or Benfica is going to be in the final. So it's interesting. It's interesting. I know most people don't like that because you feel like you might want to set this up for like a Bayern Real Madrid final or a City Real Madrid final. But listen, that's why you draw these things. But anyway. But back to Manchester City, Bayern, man. I mean, do you think João Cancelo is going to get his revenge?
But wait, who do you think's going through? So Real Madrid against Chelsea, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Real Madrid.
Real Madrid. I agree with you. Yeah. I agree with you with Real. And Man City, Bayern, come on. What an interesting matchup it is, too. I think this is going to be Haaland's most important 2 fixtures in his career against Bayern Munich. Like a rival that he knew well at Dortmund. And after scoring those 5 goals against RB Leipzig, the whole world is going to be watching this matchup against Bayern Munich. And if he wants to win a Ballon d'Or, these are the statements that Erling Haaland has to do. He has to beat Bayern, and he then has to beat Real Madrid, most probably, or Chelsea if they go bold. Haaland has to carry Man City and Pep Guardiola in the Champions League if he's going to be discussed with the greatest in the game. So that's why I'm so excited for this. And Cancelo can play. João Cancelo can play against Man City. And if he plays, I surely expect them to go bold. And this is the biggest chance that the Prem teams or even Real Madrid have to beat Bayern Munich, in my opinion. Because there's no Lewandowski. Sure. No Lewandowski. No. That's the biggest problem of Bayern Munich right now. I know Choupo-Moting scoring goals, Muller's involved, but no Lewandowski is a problem. So
and anytime Bayern has just been absolutely on a tear as of late, right? And it looks as if they were going to run away with the Bundesliga, and then I'm telling you,
no,
they lost to Leverkusen. They lost to Leverkusen over the weekend.
I told you guys.
And Dortmund now takes sole lead of. So every time I think Bayern is going to start running away with it, they pull you right back in. They pull you right back in with it. So I don't know if that makes it a toss-up for me. I still think Bayern is the unit, but I'm going to tell you, Haaland, as much as we feel Haaland is the guy, Kevin De Bruyne is slowly inching his way back to peak form. He's slowly inching his way back to peak form. I know he's not there yet. What a time to reintroduce yourself. What a time to literally become the guy, because you're absolutely right. All attention is going to be on Erling Haaland. But I think it's going to be Kevin De Bruyne that makes the difference here. And even then, I still haven't decided who I think is going to win. I mean, I still think Bayern Munich has been here before. They know how to get it done. But then again, Manchester City was, I mean, they've also been here before.
And the thing, too, with Bayern is they're instilling a culture with so many youngsters involved, too. With Kimmich captain, you have Alphonso Davies there, Upamecano, De Ligt, Musiala. They got youth players, too. And they're learning. Champions League winner already, a lot of them. Fonzie and Musiala, those two, they won a Champions League. At 17, Musiala was. Photo next to Neymar, we'll never forget that. And he was involved in that. So I think, I'm going to side with Man City, though. I'm going to side with Man City because this is the best chance of Pep Guardiola since he's been at Man City to win a Champions League. Okay. I'm going to say that. Because, there's a stat. If Man City beats Bayern Munich, last time that Pep Guardiola won a Champions League, he did beat Bayern Munich, too, with Barca in the quarterfinals. So we could see on a run Man City, and it's history repeating itself. So that's an interesting stat too. And let's see. Tell us down below, who do you think will go through in this matchup? But
I'm gonna just tell you one thing before we move on from this. Erling Haaland has lost all 7 times that he's played against Bayern. Okay, and my reason. It's going to change. Behind why exactly? I think that it is. I'm deciding right now on this camera. I do believe Manchester City will get by Bayern Munich, and I think it's because of that. I think Erling Haaland. It might not be a hat trick a game. He might not add to his 6 hat tricks this season, but I do believe that Erling Haaland wants it so much. That I think Manchester City will get it done. I'm more worried about whether or not Bayern can pick apart that defense.
But if he scores a hat-trick, oh my days, the scenes. I could see it happening. Like with Haaland, I'm not going to say I couldn't see that happening anymore. Since he's now have 28 Premier League goals scored, 5 goals in the Champions League in 57 minutes. And he scored 9 goals when he was a youth, for the under 20 of Norway. So I'm not going to say I don't see that happening with Erling Haaland anymore. I could see that.
I know, and Erling Haaland single-handedly devalued Josko Gvardiol by about 20 million euros when he got manhandled in that game versus Leipzig. Listen, Gvardiol is phenomenal and still the best, or one of the best young center backs on the planet. But my goodness, Erling Haaland, when he gets going, I don't know. And Bayern Munich, they've done this before. I mean, this is a team. I know this isn't the same team, but this is a team that has demoralized Lionel Messi himself.
True.
So
true. But I see a better team in terms of unit and tactics at City than at PSG. I think, the PSG is a whole different topic. Like 2 seasons with Messi, they never gone through the quarterfinals. Messi's not the problem, guaranteed. The problem is playing with Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe together. You cannot win a Champions League with them together. It's been shown with time. Mbappe, I think he's frustrated. So Real Madrid every single season will be more likely that he'll go to the El Galacticos. But mentioning the Champions League, so City Bayern, that's wrapped up. And now Benfica Inter. I was so happy, Breton, personally. This might be clipped in the future. Say, ha ha ha, you shouldn't have been that happy. But seeing Inter play Porto without Otávio, man of the match, Onana, Sanyanoglu, played a good game too. But Onana definitely man of the match in my opinion. I think Benfica can go through in style. So I'm going to definitely pick Benfica on this. João Mário.
Okay.
He's got more than 15. He's got, I think, 17 goals scored in the league for Benfica.
Yeah.
What a season with Roger Schmidt. And Arsens is one of the most underrated midfielders in the world of football because he's not goals and assists. He's just involved in everything, and he makes everything happen. Pressure, involvement with the team, goals happen because Arsens is involved in the play. So I wanted to say that.
Yeah, and as far as form goes, Benfica could not be any more in form. They've lost to the same squad, right? The same Braga squad twice this season, but that's in 44 fixtures, in 44 separate fixtures. Benfica, I guess their boogeyman is Braga. Only 2 losses. And you're drawing a team that, of course, has Lukaku in body form, right? He, of course, has Lautaro. Of course, has Barella. And some phenomenal pieces. But these same pieces lost to Spezia. These same pieces recently lost to Bologna. These same pieces are almost, they're not going to piss away their Champions League bid, in my opinion. But they've been pretty inconsistent. And there is a lot that needs to happen from now until the day that Inter actually faces off with Benfica, which I believe is like April 11th or something like that, less than a month from now, for me to feel like Inter, this is funny, but for me to feel like Inter has a chance versus Benfica. I don't think this is a David Goliath. I don't think that this is one team is so much better than the other. Benfica has shown that they're, in my opinion, the better team this season. And it just comes down to whether or not they can do it on the day or on the week, right? Since a week goes between the 2 legs. But I'll say it too, Benfica over Inter.
I love it. Roger Schmidt, man. And I just want to say this shout too. I think in my lifetime, this is the best I've ever seen the top 3 teams in Portugal with managers. Ruben Amorim with Sporting, amazing management. Sérgio Conceição with Porto, special coach. And Roger Schmidt with Benfica. Elite management. Only 2 losses with Braga that you mentioned. The boogeyman. Fucked right there. And the last matchup is the team that's playing the best football in Europe. 18 points ahead in Serie A. No one can go close, and that is Napoli. Osimhen has 21 goals. Osimhen, 21 goals scored in the league, and Kvishe Kvaratskhelia in the league with 12 goals and 10 assists. Unbelievable form. And if Kvishe was not Georgian, if he was Brazilian or English, oh my days, 200 million would be the price. I even see some people comparing Kvishe and Saka. That's ridiculous. Kvishe is much better than Saka right now, in my opinion. Much better. Like, it can't be comparable. Body balance, brilliance, genius, goals, involvements, the way he reads the game. Saka is a great player, generational talent for Arsenal, but Kvishe just has the edge, in my opinion. Okay, and I think that's the right thoughts, but tell us down below if you disagree with me with this Kvishe-Saka debate. I wanted to mention that. Osimhen and Kvishe.
Listen, but AC Milan has the tools to beat Napoli. They do. They do have the tools to beat Napoli. I mean, they've shown it before. I'm going to say that if there was a team so far in 2023 that has somehow navigated their way to hell and then back, it has been AC Milan. True. It has been the Rossoneri. And they've got their big pieces back. But as it stands, it's really one-dimensional, Alex. It's one-dimensional. If Victor Osimhen scores, okay, Napoli are right now, they have won 19 in 19 games when Victor Osimhen scores. Okay? So, here's a simple idea for you, AC Milan. keep Victor Osimhen from scoring, and we'll see what happens.
Impossible. Lobotka too. The work rate he has in that team. Kvisha and Osimhen are the main man, but Min-Jae Kim, Lobotka, Matias Oliveira, I just can't see Napoli and AC Milan stopping them. I really can't.
And listen, the assembly of this team, I still think, is going to either go down as the largest stroke of luck and fortune, or it is such meticulous planning and just such great bargain hunting that Spalletti, and I don't know who is above Spalletti that does a lot of the sporting conversations for Napoli. But my goodness, we said it in the last De Laurentiis. That rings a bell. Well done. But we've talked about it multiple times. We have to say it over and over again. I don't know if it's going to be replicated anytime soon, but you look at how they assembled this squad and what they have gotten out of these guys. I'm not going to lie. I love what AC Milan has done, but I clearly want Napoli to go through here. I do. I want to see this happen. And it has been a long time since Napoli has been able to. Now, I don't like and I don't condone what obviously happened in their hometown during their most recent Champions League. But at the same time, separate of all that, from a footballing perspective, Kvaratskhelia, Osimhen, Lobotka, Zielinski, Min-Jae Kim, all of these guys. This story, this story is just a beautiful story, and I want to see it continue. So I am going to pick Napoli over AC Milan, but I do think it's going to be a lot closer than people are given AC Milan credit for.
That's a very fair point. Yeah. And Napoli, for its context, they didn't let the Frankfurt fans come in. And if Benfica goes through against Inter, man, a lot of people will be traveling from Portugal to Napoli. And if they don't get tickets in, that's going to be devastated. I know a lot of people that will be very sad if they buy a ticket if they're not allowed to watch the game. That's ridiculous if that happens.
It is.
So please, we believe it's going to be Napoli Benfica in the next round.
Yep.
And we believe it's going to be Real Madrid Man City. People, put your picks down below of what do you believe will happen in the European competitions. This was a fantastic chat.